everyone. We're going to continue with the Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling, part 2. But what will our pact say? Said Father Wolf. The law of the jungle lays down very clearly that any wolf may, when he marries, withdraw from the pack he belongs to. But as soon as his cubs are old enough to stand on their feet, he must bring them to the pack council, which is generally held once a month at full moon, in order that the other wolves may identify them. After that inspection, the cubs are free to run where they please. And until they have killed their first buck, no excuse is accepted if a grown wolf of the pack kills one of them. The punishment is death, where the murderer can be found. And if you think for a minute, you will see that this must be so. Father Wolf waited till his cubs could run a little. Then, on the night of the pack meeting, took them and Mowgli and Mother Wolf to the council rock, a hilltop covered with stones and boulders where 100 wolves could hide. Akela, the great grey lone wolf who led all the pack by strength and cunning, lay out at full length on his rock, and below him sat 40 or more wolves of every size and color, from badger-colored veterans who could handle a buck alone to young black 3-year-olds who thought they could. The lone wolf had led them for a year now. He had fallen twice into a wolf trap in his youth, and once he had been beaten and left for dead. So he knew the manners and custom of men. There was very little talking at the rock. The cubs stumbled over each other in the center of the circle, where their mothers and fathers sat, and now again a senior wolf would go quietly up to a cub, look at him carefully, and return to his place on noiseless feet. Sometimes a mother would push her cub far out into the moonlight to be sure that he had not been overlooked. Akela from his rock could cry, "Ye know the law, ye know the law. Look well, O wolves!" And the anxious mothers would take up the call, look well, O wolves!" At last, the mother wolf's neck bristles lifted as the time came. Father Wolf pushed Mowgli the frog, as they called him, into the center, where he sat laughing and playing with some pebbles that glistened in the moonlight. Akela never raised his head from his paws, but went on with a monotonous cry. "Look well!" A muffled roll came up from behind the rocks, the voice of Shere Khan crying. "The cub is mine! Give him to me! What have the free people to do with man's cub?" Akela never even twitched his ears. All he said was, "Look well, O wolves! What have the free people to do with the orders of any save the free people? Look well!" There was a chorus of deep growls, and a young wolf in his 4th year flung back Shere Khan's question to Akela. "What have the free people to do with the man's cub?" Now the law of the jungle lays down that if there is any dispute as to the right of the cub to be accepted by the pack, he must be spoken for by at least two members of the pack who are not his father and mother. "Who speaks for this cub?" said Akela. "Among the free people, who speaks?" There was no answer, and Mother Wolf got ready for what she knew would be her last fight if things came to fighting. Then, the only other creature who is allowed at the pack council, Baloo, the sleepy brown bear, who teaches a wolf's cub the law of jungle. Old Baloo, who can come and go where he pleases because he eats only nuts and roots and honey, rose upon his hind quarters and grunted. "The man's cub, the man's cub," he said. "I speak for the man's cub. There is no harm in man's cub. I have no gift of words, but I speak the truth. Let him run with the pack and be entered with the others. I myself will teach him." "We need yet another," said Akela. "Baloo has spoken, and he is our teacher for the young cubs. Who speaks beside Baloo?" The black shadow dropped down into the circle. It was Bagheera, the Black Panther. Inky black all over, but with the panther marking showing up in certain lights like the pattern of watered silk. Everybody knew Bagheera, and nobody cared to cross his path, for he was as cunning as Tabaki, as bold as wild buffalo, and as reckless as a wounded elephant. But he had a voice as soft as wild honey dripping from a tree, and a skin softer than the down. "Oh, Akela, and ye the free people," he purred, "I have no right in your assembly, but the law of jungle says that if there is doubt, which is not a killing matter in regard to a new cub, the life and the safety of that cub may be brought for a price, and law does not say who may or may not pay that price. Am I right?" "Good, good," said the young wolves, who are always hungry. "Listen to Bagheera. The cub's life can be brought for a price. It is the law." "Knowing that I have no right to speak here, I ask your leave." "Speak then," cried 20 voices. "To kill a naked cub is shame. Besides, he may make better sport for you when he is grown. Baloo has spoken on his behalf. Now, to Baloo's word, I will add one bull and a fat one, newly killed. Not half a mile from here, if ye will accept the man's cub according to the law. Is it difficult?" There was a clamor of scores of voices saying, "What matters? What matters? He will die in the winter rains. He will scorch in sun. What harm can a naked frog do to us? Let him run with the pack. Where is the bull, Bagheera? Let him be accepted." And then came Akela's deep bay crying, look well, O wolves." Mowgli was still deeply interested in pebbles. He did not notice when the wolves came and looked at him one by one. At last, they all went down the hill for the dead bull, and only Akela, Bagheera, Baloo, and Mowgli's own wolves were left. Shere Khan rode, still in the night, for he was very angry that Mowgli had not been handed over to him. "Any roar well," said Bagheera. Under his whiskers. For the time all will come when this naked thing will make you roar to another tune, or I know nothing of men. It was well done, said Akela. Men and their cubs are very wise. He may be a help in time, truly a help in time of need, for none can hope to lead the pack forever, said Bagheera. Akela said nothing. He was thinking of the time that comes to every leader of every pack, when his strength goes from him and he gets feebler and feebler till at last he is killed by the wolves and a new leader comes up to be killed in his turn. Take him away, he said to Father Wolf, and train him as befit one of the free people. And that is how Mowgli was entered into the Seeonee wolf's pack for the price of a bull and on Baloo's good word. Now you must be content to skip 10 or 11 whole years and only guess at all the wonderful life that Mowgli led among the wolves, because if it were written out, it would fill ever so many books. He grew up with the cubs, though they, of course, were grown wolves almost before he was a child. And Father Wolf taught him his business and the meaning of things in the jungle, till every rustle in the grass, every breath of the warm night air, every note of the owl above his head, every scratch of the bat's claw, as if it roosted for a while in a tree, and every splash of every little fish jumping in a pool meant just as much to him as a work of his office means to a businessman. That's all for this part. Stay blessed, and I hope you all are enjoying the stories.